is awesome. It's the Buccaneers at Los Angeles for the NFC title.
You know, I'd rather be calling plays for my friend Roger Staubach today, but the Rams wouldn't invite me. So I decided to stop by and call a few plays for my friends on the NFL Today. By the way, Happy New Year, everyone. The Dallas Cowboys will be back.
The NFL Today, NFC Championship Edition, is sponsored by True Value Hardware Stores. True Value, more than just a name, it's our way of doing business. Xerox. And by Aladdin Stanley Thermos Bottles, the tough ones. From the CBS Sports Control in Tampa, Florida, here's Brent Musburger.
Welcome, everybody, to one of the most improbable sights in the rich history of championship events in this country. Only 4 years old, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on the brink of going to the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jimmy and Irv and Jane, the only thing we needed was a coach for this show, and Jimmy, I think we went out and got a good one.
Oh, you got the #1 coach of the 70s, the winningest coach of all.
Tom Landry, awfully nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Brett. It's really a pleasure to be here. I wish I was down there, but to be here is the next best thing.
Tom, we watched Pittsburgh defeat Houston together, and the Steelers are really tough, aren't they, in the big games?
Well, they're really an awesome team, Brent. They play so well in the playoffs that they just seem to be almost unbeatable, as they've proven here in the last couple of years.
Final score of that game was 27-13, and of course now the Steelers head for Pasadena. 2 weeks from today, they will play the winner of this game. But let's go back to last Sunday. How did the Buccaneers get here? Ricky Bell was a big factor against the Philadelphia Eagles. He was awesome.
Well, going into the game, we had heard that the Eagles had made reservations to go on to Dallas because they were sure that they were going to walk right over us, and they just didn't give us that respect, and I think that's the reason why we were so successful. I think the point of the game where we took the momentum of the game from the Eagles is on the first drive. We took the ball and we drove it 80 yards in 18 plays, and with that drive, I think it took a lot out of the Eagles' defense. On the first touchdown that I had, it was a 38 outside play, and as I took the ball, I looked inside, and it was clogged up a little bit. As I went around the corner, Greg Roberts hit one defensive lineman and spent off
and then he turned it over to the Buck defense.
I think they were running, I think it was a draw play that they were running, and Randy Crowder, a nose tackle, shot the gap quickly. Wilbur Montgomery tried to go on the inside, and Randy hit him first. When he came off of Randy, I was right there.
Then the best defense.
Brought my right arm around, and it happened to catch the ball at that same time, and Randy was right there to pick it up.
Another Ricky Bell touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, the combination of Doug Williams and Jimmie Giles produced the decisive points.
The last touchdown was a rollout pass between Doug and myself, and I was flanked outside. And it was supposed to be a curl in on my part, but the defensive back jumped inside, so therefore we had to adjust the pattern, and it had to go outside, and Doug found me in open.
Tampa Bay won it 24-17 to advance to today's NFC title game against the Los Angeles Rams, who finally overcame the Dallas playoff jinx. It all started Vince Ferragamo to Wendell Tyler.
It was a 125 double post, and we tried to get myself one-on-one with a linebacker, and it happened. I just happened to beat D.D. Lewis on a down, out, and up, and with my speed, I was able to get by him and just catch the pass.
Then, just before the half, Ferragamo struck again.
Just a straight drop-back pass, and I rolled to my left, and I wasn't aware of Randy White's presence, but I let the ball go. I thought Ron had an opportunity to catch the ball, He came up with a circus catch. It was a phenomenal catch.
As great as his second TD was, the third was even better. Ferragamo found Billy Waddy in the closing minutes for the game winner.
They were in a deep zone coverage, and I had great protection. Billy came across the field on a deep scoring pattern, and the ball was deflected. He came up with the football, and he was off to the races. No one was about to catch him.
And Los Angeles won it 21-19.
Personally, it meant great satisfaction to beat Dallas. We owed them one from last year. They kind of rubbed it in on us, and they kept on, they called us chokers and all that stuff. And so I think it's about time we rubbed it back in their face.
Tom, I guess one of the most surprising things about that game was the fact that you got beat by long plays. That's not typical of the Dallas defense, what we've come to expect.
Well, we did give up some big plays this year, Brent, and we didn't expect to get beat by L.A. by that type of throws, but they made some big plays. There wasn't any question about it. The luck seems to be with them in a couple of them, but they made the plays they had to make.
All right. There was a controversy in the game here between Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. I thought it was an atrocious call at the time. Tom Landry, we've had a chance to see a new angle on the Giles touchdown. Did he have possession?
Well, I don't think he had possession. As you watch this play, of course, Williams sets back and he throws an excellent pass. He got a good arc on the ball. It was in perfect position, and Giles had beat his defender. And as he came into the ball, it looked right here as though he had it. But as you see him here, the ball starts to get away from him. He's squeezing his right hand, is slipping out on him, and then he reaches over with his left hand. Right now, he's got possession, but he doesn't have the 2 feet in. So from where I see it right now, I think the official was right.
So Armin Terzian may have made an outstanding call, even though all of us second-guessed it. At the time, I was certain that was a touchdown. There was another controversy today, that one in the Pittsburgh-Houston game. Let's show you that. Houston driving for the tying touchdown. Coach Landry, what'd you think about this call and this play?
Well, it looked like on TV that it was going to be a good play because we got this view from it, and it looked like he had possession of the ball, and I think he had his feet right there. If he has possession now, both feet come in bounds right there. So it should have been a good call if he did have possession, but we didn't see the ball.
Would you like to have instant replay used during big games?
Well, Brent, this is a controversial thing. I've seen so many views of shots that I don't know that we could have it accurate. I would like to see it where we could use it on certain types of calls.
All right, thank you very much. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment. And the two gentlemen who will describe the action for you today are standing near midfield, Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire. Let's go down to Pat now.
Brent, thank you, and it's absolutely incredible, the din, the noise, and the enthusiasm of the fans here in Tampa.
Looks like it's on fire with all the people wearing orange, but I think about the Rams coming in here, and they're no longer the Hollywood-type Rams. These guys are street fighters. They lost their owner earlier in the year. They've had 13 or 14 injuries to starters. I think that they'll literally have to be carried out of here, and the Bucs can do that. The Bucs are darn physical.
I think one of the most significant things we heard yesterday in talking to the two coaches was that John McKay said the key to our success is going to be whether we can get Ricky Bell to the outside or not. And in talking to the Rams, they said one of the things that we have to stop is Ricky Bell getting outside.
And Ray Malavasi would like to get an early touchdown to try to quiet this crowd down. I don't know if that will work, and it's not a good defense to go against. It's the best defense maybe in football.
I don't think anything is going to work in quieting this crowd down. There are no fans like this anywhere. Brett?
Thank you very much, Pat and Tommy. Jane, Tommy mentioned the Ram owner passing away, Carol Rosenblum. And, of course, his widow took over the ball club. She was shrouded in controversy after she fired the stepson, Steve Rosenblum. But now she seems to have exerted herself. And you spoke to Georgia this week in Los Angeles.
Well, I did. As a matter of fact, a lot of people know about the turmoil that Los Angeles has been going through. But I thought it was time that we really got a chance to take a look at who Georgia Rosenblum really is. She's sometimes elusive and always controversial. She was brought up in show business, but now enjoys the distinction of being the only woman owner of an NFL franchise. She's Georgia Rosenblum, and her team, the Los Angeles Rams, is only a single step away from Pasadena's promised land, Super Bowl 14. Georgia, you've had a long career in show business. Do you feel that it's helped you at all in your position as an owner?
Everyone needs someone to help them in show business, and no one person on a team ever does it alone. And I think that understanding makes me more optimistic and more understanding of everything that goes on in football.
Georgia, what is the main contribution you've made to the Rams?
The main contribution would be to have the finest people that I can find in the various jobs, in the staff, and the coaches, players, to be an active, aware owner without stifling anyone's ambitions in the organization. After all, there has to be someone, one person, holding the reins. And since the money stops with me, why, I have to be the one that ultimately makes the final decisions. But I always listen and learn from the people that are with me.
You are one step from the Super Bowl. How does it feel?
I'm so proud of them, I can't tell you. I know that every fan in Los Angeles is proud too. And I'm sure they all feel satisfied. I think that they go through the same agonies that I do. I know they do.
Georgia, if the Rams win the Super Bowl, or as you say, when the Rams win the Super Bowl, how are you going to celebrate?
One of the celebrations will be that I'll be invited to the dressing room to receive the trophy, and that'll be quite an honor to receive the trophy and to be allowed into the dressing room.
For the first time?
Well, I made that rule myself, but I follow it.
There is a strong link between the owners of these two teams. Hugh Culverhouse, the man who put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers together, was one of the late Carroll Rosenblum's attorneys. He's a tax specialist from Jacksonville, Florida. Here he is in the locker room after wrapping up the Central Division title.
I am so really proud of our coaches who wanted to go with youth, and they knew what a beating it would be in the first few years. I want to thank each of the players for being men who stuck with the program. And I'd be very remiss if I didn't tell you that we understood the pouring out of all the hearts and souls that we went through the first 3 years. You deserve it. I'm proud for you, and the fans are proud of you. Thank you.
Now, the city of Los Angeles is directly behind the Rams today, but they also are torn emotionally. You see, the coach of the Buccaneers, John McKay, enjoyed tremendous success at the University of Southern California. I'll be back to talk to Irv Cross about the contrast between McKay and Ray Malavasi of the Rams in just a moment. The biggest and the baddest Buccaneer is saying, bring on Youngblood and the rest of the Rams. And big fella, they'll be there. We just got a call out of Pittsburgh, and Tom Landry's description of that controversial play was right on, Coach Landry, because they said the side judge said both feet are inbounds, but a question about possession.
Well, I would have been disappointed if they'd have missed the feet in, I'll tell you that.
All right. Now, Irv, we have got John McKay versus Ray Malavasi, the earthy Malavasi, the humorous McKay, one who takes it as the Third World War, one who seems to have a much lighter approach to the game.
Very light. You know, with a game like this big, you always have a lot of media hype and hoopla surrounding the ball game. Yesterday, both head coaches met with the press, and I asked Ray Malavasi if the Rams were different from the team that lost to the Buccaneers 21-3.
We're a different football team right now. We didn't have an offensive line at that particular point. We had changes in the secondary. Rod Perry was hurting, who's one of the better defensive backs in the league. We're not the same team.
Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I agree with any coach's assessment of his team, because he would know that a lot better than I would have any idea on that. Personnel-wise, looking at them, I think they're faster. With the putting Wendell Tyler as a starting running back, he has real good speed. I don't know whether the receivers are faster, but Smith and Waddy are very impressive with their speed.
They're a different ball club right now. They've won. They've been playing great defense. Their offense has been moving the ball. They've been running the football. I think it's a different team, just like we are. We're not the same ball club that we were when we played them.
There is no reason for us to go out and lose. We have no excuse if we lose. The other team beat us, and we don't think the other team's going to beat us. But we've been wrong before. I used to say that I used to be so confident, and then the ball would be kicked off, and I'd say, I'll be damned, I'm wrong again.
The key, I think, to their whole defense is the fact that they have gotten a pass rush with 3 people. and that's very difficult to do. And once you do that and you defend with 8, it's tough to throw.
They've got a lot of Pro Bowl players. We finally got one. I think we have athletic talent equal pretty much to theirs. But our talent happens to be quite a bit younger in playing experience.
I don't fear anybody. I don't care who they are. Pittsburgh, Dallas, Tampa, and I don't think our football team does either. Okay? As a matter of fact, I know they don't.
I really don't have anything else to say, fellas. It's going to be a hard-fought game. Both chances the team have decided to win. It'll be played in a stadium. We don't fear the Rams don't fear us. We respect everybody. What else do you need? What? No, we fear nothing. We're too dumb to fear anything.
Irv, I think the Rams got a touchdown in that first game rather than a field goal.
Yeah, it was 21-6. It was key about getting outside. Jack Youngblood, playing in the defensive end, has to play a key role for that Ram defense to contain Ricky Bell.
Tom, do the coaches match up in a championship game? Do you take on the other coach as much as the team?
Well, I think your game plan and everything does take on the other coach because it comes from the head coach, basically the plan itself, and so how they plan, how they prepare determines a lot the outcome of the game, but the players still have to play the game.
All right, somebody who is here with us, of course, today, Jack Whitaker, who has an overview of what's been going on in Tampa. Jack?
Well, Brent, I think there are an awful lot of us here who were here last week at the Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game that didn't think we'd be back in this Bay Area so soon. So strong was our belief in Tom Landry's Cowboys that they could handle the Rams. Well, the Rams blew that myth away like John McKay blows away football coaching cliches. With a great defense that they've always had and a feisty offense, the Rams last week recovered a great bit of their dignity that was slipping away during the regular season. And because of that, we're being hosted here by the loudest and best 4-year-old franchise in all of professional football. Now, if you were to take experience alone as your criteria, the Rams should win today handsomely. After all, they're playing a team whose overall record is merely 18 wins against 46 defeats. The Rams, over that same period of time, have won 44 and lost only 21 and tied 1. The Rams have been to this championship dance 4 times in the last 6 years, only to be turned aside from that last bridge to the Super Bowl by Dallas or Minnesota. Well, today, the purple of the Vikings and the blue-silver of Dallas is replaced by the Florida orange of Tampa Bay, and the Rams can all but taste the sweetness of the championship. But oranges sometimes taste bitter, and the Rams will find Tampa a very stern test. They're a team that believes when they play to their potential, they can beat anybody, including Pittsburgh. And if you think that these two teams are here only because of weak scheduling, remember that nobody gets a free pass to the Super Bowl. These are the survivors, the endurers after 18 weeks of combat. William Faulkner said when he accepted the Nobel Prize that he thought mankind would not only endure, it would prevail. Well, in the National Football League, like mankind, you must first endure before you can prevail, and then only one will prevail. We're down to 3 endurers now. In about 3 hours, we'll have 2 of them. And those 2 who fight it out to see who will prevail will have earned all the madness and glory we call the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Jack. And as William Faulkner might have added, can Jimmy the Greek give me a winner? We'll be back to find out as the NFL Today continues in just a moment. The kickoff draws near. Tampa Bay and Los Angeles. And Jimmy, how would you analyze these two teams?
It wasn't easy to bring it up. It wasn't easy, believe me. Waddy Smith and Tyler could actually give the Rams a little bit of the speed. But then Williams has played more games than Ferragamo. The defensive secondary and the defensive front are definitely even.
I gone all season with you. You never check discipline.
Well,
boy, you got the most undisciplined players in this league.
No question about it. But let me tell you one thing. Here is where the great difference is going to be. And I think that France will definitely neutralize Leroy Selman.
You think Doug can handle Leroy? Leroy
well,
made
we're
12
going to watch
tackles
it.
the first
And
game.
that's where the offensive line will give Tyler a break to break one for 30 or 40 yards, which will definitely be the difference between the Rams and Tampa Bay today. The kicking game, everything is very close. In fact, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it finished in a tie game.
What's the intangible there for the Bucs?
The Rams have been on the road 3 weeks. Tampa's been home 4.
I'll give you another intangible. He's sitting right over here on my right. They don't have to work against Tom Landry this afternoon and the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Landry, how do you view this game? An experienced team against a young team?
I tell you, this is a great matchup, Brett. I think the strength of the teams, the defense against defense, young quarterback against young quarterback, great tailback against great tailback. It's almost an even bet.
You sound like the Greek. You're not going to pick a winner.
No, I'm going to say this. I would go with experience. But I tell you, the Rams are going to have to earn it if they win it in this atmosphere today. I'll tell you that.
Brent, Jack Youngblood was limping this morning at the Holiday Inn, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he's not substituted for early.
Jimmy, you'd limp too if you had a broken leg. The NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment. The Buccaneers about to be introduced, and the stage is set, and let me introduce you to their secret weapon. You didn't tell me that you've been down here cooking meals for Leroy Selman, Ricky Bell, and Doug Williams. You got me all.
I didn't tell you because I thought you were going to say it on the show. But L.A. is home, Brent. I don't know. I love L.A. in my heart. And Tampa Bay I believe in, so I don't know today.
All right. Coach Landry will join us at halftime. We'll talk about Roger Staubach's future. Right now, sit back and enjoy the NFC title game on CBS.
Stay tuned as the NFL Today continues after this word from your local station.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is impossible to hear as the Buccaneers are being introduced from Tampa Stadium. Incredible. It is wild. The last man you heard was Ricky Bell and the rest of the Buccaneers, coached by John McKay. And welcome to the championship of the NFC. I'm Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire, and I've never heard a den like this.
Well, you're from Florida, but this whole area has been turned on by a football team, and it's really a great thing. I've never seen people collectively in a town want something to happen like today.
It has done an amazing job of unifying not only this area, but this whole part of Florida.
And I think Ferragamo, the Rams quarterback, I think he'll try to throw deep against Tampa Bay. That's a very good defensive team, the best in pro football in some cases. And I think they'll try to throw deep and quiet the crowd down. On the other hand, Ricky Bell has just got to run the ball, as he says he likes to run it about 30 times, and then they win.
And we have a tendency to win when he does that. Ricky Bell, of course, broke a playoff record last week. But still, when you get right down to the bottom line, it is defense that got these two teams here, and that's what I figure is going to happen today.
Well, I think it's two of the most physical teams, too. I talked to some of the Eagles after the playoff game a week ago, and they're not interested in coming back and taking this up again until next year. They said physically that Tampa Bay has the biggest, strongest linebackers maybe in football, and they really beat them.
It is amazing when you think that they lost the first 26 games that they played just 2 years ago. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please rise and join us in the singing of our national anthem. Malavese, who has been under fire but has survived and seems to be very well and healthy. Thank you.
And I think the Rams sort of like playing on the road right now until they get in their new home in Anaheim. They might like to play on the road. They seem to do pretty well, don't they?
We're going to be able to listen to the toss of the coin in that ceremony at the middle of the field. The Tampa Bay captains, number 33, Mark Cotney, number 54, Richard Wood, and number 50, the offensive captain, Steve Wilson. The Rams, Larry Brooks, number 90, 85, Jack Youngblood.
Walking pretty well, too.
Yes, he is. And looking serious about things. Rich Saul and Jim Jodat are the other two captains. Let's listen. Referee is Pat Haggerty.
Who will call the coin? Me. Call it in the air, please.
Heads.
Heads, he calls. Heads it is. We receive. Let's go, you. Okay, would you turn your backs to the goal, please? Los Angeles won the toss. They will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
And, of course, last week it was that opening drive touchdown against the Eagles that sort of set the whole tempo. At least the Rams won't have to face that.
The Rams will get a chance to do it themselves this time. And have you ever been anywhere where the enthusiasm of the fans is any bigger or greater than it is here? Here are the officials, Pat Haggerty, Frank Sinkovitz,
Eddie Marion, Dave Hawk,
Pat Knight, Vince Jacob, and Dick Dolak.
Two former players in that group right there, two former pro players.
Pat Knight, of course.
And Sinkovitz, big tackle. Don't you like one-game seasons, though, like this, when it really means something?
Oh, you talk about sudden death, that's where we are. And look at that. Those people have been frustrated for a long time. The last championship for Los Angeles, 1951.
Van Brocklin and Waterfield in that group, huh?
And Elroy Hirsch and Tom Fears. And, of course, no championships here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as they line up with Neil O'Donoghue, the 6'6" place kicker.
From Ireland, Dublin, huh?
Was a curling participant at one time. But right now, he knows it's football, a good kick. It'll be Eddie Hill. It starts at his 9. And Hill to the 34, 35 perhaps, where the Rams will take over in good shape. Rick Burns made the tackle.
28-yard return. Here's that offensive line. Watch Doug France against Leroy Selman. Kent Hill, the big Georgia Tech rookie. Rich Saul, one of the best centers in football. Dennis Harrah, who played half a season with a broken leg and didn't know it. And Jackie Slater at right tackle.
The receivers, Terry Nelson, the tight end. Preston Denard, number 88, and Billy Waddy, who had the big catch against Dallas last week. Vince Ferragamo, the quarterback. Wendell Tyler, and Cullen Bryant behind him. And right now, there's only one running back. That's Tyler. And Tyler will carry on the first down, and he slants off tackle for about 4.
That is the favorite play for the defensive team right now. That looks like the I formation type stuff that John likes to run. Wally Chambers, that left end, the former Chicago Bear. Randy Crowder, the Penn Stater at nose. And, of course, Leroy Selman, the most valuable defensive player in the league.
And 4 very, very good linebackers.
And miserably mean, too.
The secondary.
All hitters and big, tall.
It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Rams. Line of scrimmage, their own 39. That is Cullen Bryant. He got a couple, and that's all.
First play is a double wing with a wing-back setup, and they run the toss just like John McKay used to do, of course, with O.J. Simpson, and does right now with Ricky Bell.
It'll be 3rd and 2 for Los Angeles as Lawrence McCutcheon checks in. Big Doug France checking on something, breaking out of the Los Angeles huddle.
Those stats, both of them, huh?
And Charlie Young also in, an extra tight end.
Remember, the Eagles only managed 45 yards rushing as a team last week.
They play that 3-man front. Tampa Bay does about as well as anybody, perhaps better. Here's Tyler. I beg your pardon, McCutcheon. He is near a first down, but from the reaction of the fans, I think he's short. David Lewis, one of those tough linebackers, made the stop.
Ran right at Chambers. Watch to the left of your screen. Wally Chambers will show up inside. Ooh, he almost got handled. Look at the linebacking recovery. Number 58.
Watch that defense operate.
That's Dewey Selman, the little brother of Leroy.
He is short of the first down, and Ken Clark is number 13, the Ram punter. Reese, number 46, who absolutely refuses to make a fair catch. He only had one all year. Back deep for Tampa. He'll have a chance to operate with this one. But not very well, out to about the 30. Ram coverage is good. It was a line drive kick by.
All right, you want to see a good-looking tailback out of the eye, watch Ricky Bell. And here's the line. Big fellow from Arkansas. That's Mr. Ravis, the left tackle. Greg Horton, the former Ram. Steve Wilson, the biggest offensive center in football. Greg Roberts. And, of course, he's the rookie from Oklahoma. And Charlie Hanna, who has become a very fine offensive tackle.
Played defense last year, but is one of the best right now, coming off a knee injury. Jimmie Giles, the tight end, and he's one of the best.
They said he might be the best tight end in football.
Quarterback, of course, is Doug Williams. And behind him, Eckwood and Johnny Davis. And this will be Ricky Bell. Bell straight ahead, perhaps one, no more.
Talking to McKay yesterday, John said, I would like to run outside. I have to run outside to beat this team, but I may have to work inside until I make the big guys play honest and stay inside on that defensive line.
Here's that defensive line.
Jack Youngblood has had the fracture of the leg, but he looked like he was ready to play, and that'll be a big test. Mike Fanning, the Notre Damer, Larry Brooks, and of course Freddie Dyer, who had a great year this year.
Three solid linebackers for Los Angeles as well. And their secondary. 2nd and 8, a 2-yard pickup. On first down, Ricky Bell is the lone setback, and he is trying to get outside and cannot.
Fanning.
Mike Fanning is the first man there almost as quickly as Bell.
Again, we said this is not a Hollywood-type Ram team. These are not glory boys. None of them have shaved in 3 days, and they're angry, and they are street fighters today. Great play by Fanning from behind.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the National Football League is prohibited. 3rd down. Doug Williams looking deep. Got rid of it. And completes it out of bounds. Very, very difficult to get Mr. Williams down. Big and strong he is.
He's 6'4" and loads it up. But watch Freddie Dyer, number 89. He will come across the screen like a shooting star. But this man is so strong, he still is able to throw it as Dryer's hanging on. It's a thoroughbred.
Tom Blanchard is number 16, the ex-Giant, ex-New Orleans Saint.
He kicks a low kick, doesn't he, Pat? Sometimes that kicks the coverage a little bit.
Sometimes he gets off a line driver. Eddie Brown is number 25, back for the Rams, standing at his own 35. Defense. That's the way they got it done. And there's one of those liners. And Eddie Brown will watch it go out of bounds at about the 37-yard line, where the Rams will take over with their second offensive effort. 35-yard kick by Blanchard, and there is number 16 coming off. 11:03 left to play in the first quarter of this championship game. 0-0. Ricky Bell, not very successful on their first offensive endeavor were the Buccaneers. The Ram defense looks solid, but so does the other folks.
Big Jack Youngblood still breathing fire, huh?
Jack, of course, went to the University of Florida and still enjoys the fellowship and some hunting around here once in a while.
Let's see if Ferragamo now has found somewhere to probe successfully.
The three-man front for Tampa Bay. Selman over on the right, Chambers on the left, and here's McCutcheon looking for room. Richard Wood, the linebacker, again.
Pretty good first down pickup, though, almost 5 yards. It is at least 5 yards. People have not been able to do that.
Rams alternating, it seems, Wendell Tyler and Lawrence McCutcheon, and right now Tyler is back in the backfield with Cullen Bryant.
The big fullback who does not fumble.
2nd and 4. It was a 6-yard pickup by McCutcheon. 0-0 score yet. Then Ferragamo, who hasn't put it up yet, gives to Cullen Bryant. And the Rams operate now in Buccaneer territory. Across the 50, Cedric Brown, the safety man, had to make the tackle.
The big fella is extremely fast. He was actually an All-American defensive player at Colorado. one of the best ones they ever had, I guess. Has 128 carries now without a fumble. And a lot of people are grabbing at you when you're a fullback. Big effort.
1st and 10 Rams. On a quick count, Ferragamo gets back to Tyler, and Tyler with a great quickness gets outside and gets out of bounds in front of the Ram bench. 7 yards for Tyler. And that's what you got to do against this defense.
Well, Cotney came up and as a good safety man coming up on the force, and watch the inside move Wendell gives him. Looks like he's back at UCLA playing for Dick Vermeil. He just got outside the linebacker too. Makes it look awfully easy. Remember, he's only 190 pounds, and he's going to have to make some contact before the day's over.
But very, very quick is Wendell Tyler. 2nd and 3, 7 yards for him. At the Buccaneer 41, the Rams operate. Bucks showing blitz. Ferragamo is yet to throw. Still has it. Cullen Bryant to the outside. Bryant will have another Ram first down. Jolted out of bounds at about the 28 by Mark Cotney, the safety man. 11 yards.
Well, look at this. The biorhythms must be really good for Cullen Bryant. He's running now like Wendell Tyler. Dips in, gets back to the outside. Washington gets screened off a little bit by Denard. Rams got that offensive rushing game going against a team that does not give up many yards.
Bryant, 3 carries, 23 yards already. 1st and 10 Rams at the 30-yard line of Tampa Bay. Vince Ferragamo, the quarterback. Youth against youth at that position, and here's Tyler behind Hill, and Wendell Tyler almost broke it. Richard Wood, the Batman, made the tackle.
It's a good thing the Batman is a great tackler, and he is. Watch number 54, because Nelson gets a great block on Wally Chambers, and Wendell Tyler would be gone without that one.
Richard Wood with those bat emblems on his elbow pads and wrist pads.
With the Jets, wasn't he, originally?
Right. But he's happy here.
This defense, by the way, has held 7 teams under 100 yards rushing.
We just got to look at the Pro Bowl representative for the Buccaneers, Leroy Selman. The Rams had 6, and Ferragamo will throw outside to Cullen Bryant with Brockers in front. And Bryant down inside the 20 to about the 17. Stopped by Washington. 11 yards. More for Los Angeles, and they look as if they are mean and ready, as Mr. Brookshire has been telling you.
Okay, let's take a look at it's just a check-off pattern, but actually they've got the lineman pulling out that way. It's a slip screen. This is designed. And for some reason, those linebackers on the 34 got caught a little bit out of position. And don't be fooled by Cullen Bryant. He's got speed. Watch this. Leroy Selman against Doug France. Good block.
They said that Selman had never been off his feet. A fumble. Rams say we have it, but the Buccaneers do. Richard Wood makes the recovery, number 54.
The big problem the Rams have had was turning the ball over. Against San Diego, I think it was, they lost 4 fumbles. And the fumble is about the most dangerous thing, the most deflating thing a team can suffer.
Wood got it away from Tyler.
Batman gets ball.
Buccaneers will operate on offense now. And these fans are really alive. Doug Williams, quarterback. Ricky Bell is now the fullback, and Eckwood is the tailback. That is Eckwood. Jack Reynolds, the hacksaw, on the tackle.
Eckwood's out of your old alma mater, right? Arkansas. A number 3 draft choice that early in the year had a couple of 100-yard rushing days, and then he broke his wrist, didn't he? The right wrist.
Yep. There's Richard Wood, who recovered the fumble.
But that Eckwood is a very fine running back for a 3rd-round draft choice.
That broken wrist has really set him back. He's never reached the pace that he was at early in the year. Since that, a 3-yard pickup for Eckwood. 2nd and 7. Eckwood again. Nothing doing. Mike Fanning, number 79, is the leading Ram tackler, at least on that play. And watch that defense operate.
And they're running at Freddie Dryer, who at about 220 pounds is always supposed to be too small. But you got Hacksaw Reynolds filling to the inside very quickly, and Dreyer and Larry Brooks play extremely well together on that side as a tandem.
A lot of people chasing.
A lot of people said that he said something about Doug Williams not being a good quarterback, and he said he meant Paul Williams. A musical person.
That message didn't get across. Johnny Davis and Ricky Bell this time, and this will be Bell. And Bell blasts out for a Buccaneer first down. Their first one outside the 25 to about the 28. Pat Thomas and Bob Brudzinski made the tackle.
Watch the good pulling block here by the guard. Watch this guy. You'll see it get out. 64 is coming out. That's Horton, the former Ram. He cuts Cromwell down. I tell you, they get off the ball. Horton, of course, had injury problems with the Rams, but he ought to know Larry Brooks and that bunch pretty well.
First down, Buccaneers at their own 29. First and 10 with 6:15 left first quarter. Johnny Davis is number 38 right behind Williams. But that's Ricky Bell, barely back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a couple. And all of a sudden, things got quiet.
Waiting to see if Ricky gets back up. I remember the injury he had in the Rose Bowl game, and a young freshman came in that looked skinny by the name of Charlie White and had 100 and some odd yards replacing Ricky Bell.
And who's done reasonably well since then.
Pretty good runner, huh? Great runner.
Ray Malavasi, Ram head coach. Doug Williams, they say, is a low percentage passer. But John McKay was telling us yesterday that much of that is his fault because of play selection, and Williams stays in there. Oh, throws, and he can gun it. Intended for Larry Mucker, number 87, but well overthrown. But Williams showed you the strength in that shotgun arm he's got.
That was about 65 yards, and it was clean. And I was talking to him, and he said that his idol in baseball used to be Drysdale. And, of course, he was a great baseball player himself, wasn't Doug?
Yeah, best pitch was a curveball, they say.
Drysdale's best pitch was the brushback pitch. High and hard.
If his idol was Drysdale, no wonder he's tough to sack. At the 30, 31 make it 3rd and 8. Eckwood and Bell are the two running backs, and Williams goes straight. Williams has a man open and just barely misses. Number 85, Morris Owens, the intended receiver, but the Buccaneers will have to punt. They both look a little bit tight.
Of course, Dallas was looking at 7 defensive backs, and the Rams, the one thing they do have a lot of are different backfield situations because they had so many injuries early. Looks like Doug Williams is limping some, huh?
Yeah, I've seen him limp before. All of a sudden, it disappears very quickly. I wouldn't think he has a serious problem at all. Eddie Brown back deep for the Rams, and Blanchard standing at his 15 will punt it. Fast Eddie Brown has it bounce and has the orange jerseys of the Buccaneers led by the man who snapped the ball, Knopfziger, swarm on him before he has a chance to do anything.
It's one thing about both of these teams, Pats. Their special teams are really not that strong on either team.
But so far, they look like they got it worked out. Nothing, first quarter. Goodyear Blimp Enterprise, based.
Glad you identified it. It's on our side, I know that.
Pompano Beach, Florida, piloted by Captain Ron Bell, who's from Miami Lakes.
What a sight up there on a breezy, beautiful day here in the Tampa Bay area, huh?
Our cameraman up there looking down and showing you that picture, and what a sight it is Herman Lang. And the video technician is Red Parrish.
This time we're going to watch Leroy Selman work against Doug France. France has a great style because he's big enough to stand straight up and take Leroy on.
He's been successful so far on first down. It'll be Wendell. He got perhaps 2, but no more than that.
Wendell Tyler does not want to run in there. That's where the big fellas live. He would like to do this just long enough and then be able to get back outside. At 190 pounds, you can't take too many cutting back inside. Here's what Doug had to say about Leroy.
He's asking him about playing against a great player like this.
Well, that's the only way you get recognition is when you can do a good job against the best. And Leroy Selman's probably the best after Deacon Jones ever to play the game. and I'm probably going to play my best game ever.
Very confident approach. A very nice compliment for Deacon Jones. Kent Hill out in front of Wendell Tyler, who is very, very quick. Dewey Selman, Leroy's brother.
Well, the only thing about what Doug France said is true. He blocked very well against Leroy in the first game, but Leroy made 12 tackles. This play here, Leroy Selman went all the way across the field at 255 pounds and cut off the running back on the far side of the field. It's an incredible athlete that you're watching, number 63. Let's see if we got it. Now watch 63 and just pick it up. You want to see somebody that can run through the backyard, so watch this one. And Wendell Tyler is a 4-5 guy.
Richard Wood is number 54, of course, but Selman all the way on the other side of the field. So it'll still be 1st and 10 at the 42. Ferragamo deep. Just barely underthrown, intended for Billy Waddy. See what kind of job Rich Saul did. He's got a tough challenge today with that man right on his nose, too.
And Rich is only weighing about 246 pounds, but he's always been one of the great centers. He's working with Crowder, the former Penn Stater, who is a very good nose man. Pretty much of a standoff there, and Selman did put some heat on Ferragamo.
Rich Saul in his 10th year. Is that where we were?
Leroy's Market.
It'll be 2nd and 10 at the 42. Ferragamo gets off to Cullen Bryant, who barrels out near a 1st down. Leroy Selman again on the tackle, but Cullen Bryant with good yardage.
The only running back to have over 100 yards against Tampa Bay was Taylor of the New York Giants, 148 yards. But every back that runs against Tampa Bay pays for it. And that's the way they'll say, okay, you'll make yardage in the first half, but not the 4th quarter.
That's one of the great things about Cullen Bryant. That statistic you look at right there, 131 consecutive times now without a fumble. John McKay.
Looks like he's sizing up a putt.
Which he probably did yesterday. Here is Wendell Tyler, and he's got some more good yards, about 6 or 7 before Richard Wood. The 54 make the tackle.
Good block by Hera, number 60. Big Florida man in there for the Rams.
58 is Dewey Selman.
Boy, he could fill a hole. This is good running by Wendell. He's the one that had the big day for Vermeil in that one Rose Bowl against Ohio State. One of the great college games I guess I ever watched.
At the 41, it'll be 2nd and 3. 2:25 left first quarter. No scores yet. The winner to play Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, and Cullen Bryant bangs away for a 1st down.
If you could stand up the nose man and get the guard through on one of those linebackers and sort of blow him out, you got a chance against the 34. Watch Bryant cut back against the flow because Crowder plays the pressure and sort of overruns it. Pretty good running by Cullen Bryant.
Good block by Saul. Bryant, 5 carries, 39 yards. Tyler, 7 for 32. As Jack Youngblood and Fred Dreyer, the defensive ends, look on. Vince Ferragamo in place of Pat Hayden on 1st and 10 at the Buccaneers 36. Backtracking, firing. No one home. Intended, I believe, for Preston Denard, but Ferragamo had nobody near.
Patrick Ferragamo has got to look off the receiver he's going to go to a little bit. This is a very good secondary, like Washington, who's 6'3", 200 pounds, you know, they're good. But they back off straight away, and if he would look one side and then maybe go to the other side with the receiver, he's got a better chance. If he starts throwing it like that, they're going to pick the ball off.
Ray Malavasi said yesterday that he felt that in spite of the fact that not many teams, if any teams, have had any success going deep, throwing deep against the Buccaneers, he felt that was one of the keys to the Rams' success. He felt they could do it. They haven't tried yet. And there's Wendell Tyler, and down he goes. Mark Cotney, the safety man, is there before Tyler even got possession of the ball.
I think Mark Cotney doesn't appreciate what's happened this year. He was with the original Bucs. And watch this as he dogs from the safety spot. Meets the ball carrier as Wendell took the handoff from Cameron State.
He looks pleasant enough.
Well, he went through some of those years when you know how tough it was down here. They were going for 0-26 and all of that.
And they got it.
Yeah, they made it.
So it'll be 3rd down, 14 at the 40. No score. 1:19 now, make it 1:15 left first quarter as Ferragamo has a lot of time. For Denard, and he's got it inside the 5 to the 4. Mike Washington was the nearest Buccaneer. But the Rams will have it 1st and goal. 36 yards on that pass completion.
And no pressure. Excellent blocking as they pick up the 3 with no blitz. And watch Ferragamo. He doesn't throw it early, but he waits for Denard to make the out move. This young man from New Mexico is some kind of a prospect. Great potential.
Here's Ferragamo in action again.
And remember, the Rams lost Jesse and Miller, their best receivers, in preseason. This has been a come-from-behind team all year.
1st and goal from the 4, and we should acknowledge the Rams' offensive line because Ferragamo had all the time in the world. Charlie Young and Terry Nelson, double tight ends in for Los Angeles.
Flag is down.
But a touchdown by Bryant, but keep in mind, penalty marker down. The referee, Pat Haggerty, conferring with the rest of his staff at the moment. Touchdown, Bryant, but discussion goes on.
Looks to me like Jackie Slater has given Wally Chambers a pretty good ride over that left defensive end. That was a big hole that opened up to be near the goal line that close.
Rams special team comes on. Number 71 for the Rams, of course, is Reggie Doss. Now, let's see.
Pat Haggerty will figure this out.
With some help.
Got away from the players first so you can turn the mics off and on again.
It's Pat Haggerty, of course, in the different color hat on the right. There he is.
Eddie Marion helped him make that decision. Very popular one.
Against Los Angeles. They were moving.
I wonder if it was Ferragamo that might have moved his leg. Once in a while, the young quarterback does move his left leg a little bit, and I've wondered if he was going to be called on it.
Here's Haggerty.
Illegal formation. Offense.
Illegal formation.
Illegal formation.
So the touchdown by Cullen Bryant has been nullified, and Ray Malavasi is trying to get somebody's attention. But if he keeps operating like that, he might.
Oh. He just threw down his ready list and had to pick it back up.
1st and goal for the 9 as they try to, from the 9 as they try to calm him down. It's Ferragamo. Wendell Tyler. Still on his feet and still down to about the 1. Cedric Brown finally made the tackle, but a good run by Wendell Tyler. David Lewis finally put him all the way down.
Well, he ran right over Lewis sort of to make the thing. I don't know how Wendell cuts back here. Selman gets a shot at his head. Finally, the off linebacker comes through to make the tackle. That's some run by Wendell Tyler.
And he's not that big, as you pointed out.
He got the best average, though, per rush in the league this year, 5.1. Selman almost took his head off.
Tell you what, that may not go down as any record breaker, but that's a heck of a run. 2nd and 1. 2nd and goal at the 1. Rams at the door. Ferragamo throws and overthrows. Intended for Preston Denard. Ferragamo backpedaling, missed him.
Thought he had some pressure, too. A rush by Wally Chambers, I believe, made him throw that ball perhaps higher than he wanted to. He's young, out of Nebraska. At one time, Vince went to California, and a quarterback named Barkowski was already there, and Roth. So Ferragamo packed up and ended up in Lincoln, Nebraska somehow.
Figuring he would not play too much in California behind those two.
That's right.
But Nebraska is not a bad place to play. Their fans are just about as enthusiastic as these here. There's Wendell Tyler hit down right at the line of scrimmage and knocked backwards.
Too many to name, too many people to name, but they're all together, shoulder to shoulder. Some effort against this Ram offensive line. Watch Chambers, number 60, seal it off. get back into the flow. That's a great defensive play on the goal line.
Selman and Chambers and everybody. Lewis.
And that illegal formation is going to be quite a burr under the saddle by the time halftime rolls around.
That's the end of the first quarter. The Rams, it seemed, as you look at number 3, Corral, we're going to settle for the 3. But they'll swap into the field now, and the fans at Tampa Bay are delighted with this goal line stand and their defense's ability to make the Rams settle for 3. This is a booming, blossoming, very happy area. Happy about the weather, which is delightful today, and happy about their Buccaneer team. What about that illegal formation?
Well, they said that they had 2 tight ends in there, which of course is Nelson and Charlie Young, and Doug France was supposed to be an eligible receiver. But if that's the case, then the tight end has to back off and become sort of a wing back, and the tight end did not make that move.
With Nolan Cromwell holding, Frank Corral will try to kick.
He's 6 of 6 up to 39 yards.
Look out for Cromwell. He can do some other things with it. All he does is put it down, and the Rams break on top 3-0, as indicated to you by the referee Pat Haggerty. And Corral puts Los Angeles on top. The Rams in quest of their first championship since 1951. The scoring drive for the Rams, 13 plays they kept it, 68 yards. Corral's 19-yard field goal makes it 3-0 Los Angeles.
Rams had 82 yards rushing and 45 passing in the first quarter against Tampa.
Isaac Higgins will operate from the goal line with the wedge in front of him. And he's got some room. Corral made the tackle. Eddie Brown was back there with him, but if he had been able to evade the kicker, Corral, he might have gone.
Well, Corral is a good athlete. We've been told that, and he proved it then. Here's Jodat, one of the wild men on the give-up-your-body kickoff coverage teams. 43 gets there, but Higgins gets a good hallway as he takes one high on the helmet there. That'd have been a prize fight. They'd have stopped it. Great tackle by Corral.
Now it's Danny Reese. They put the overhand shot on Jodat. It'll be first down Buccaneers. And Ricky Bell operating now at tailback with Johnny Davis, the fullback, is stopped by Larry Brooks.
Who's going to be there?
Pittsburgh and either Tampa Bay or Los Angeles in Pasadena on January the 20th.
We're going to be there, too.
There's no spectacle quite like that, and you'll see it on CBS.
The Rose Bowl, they can load that baby up with over 100,000 kids.
105 plus. You got any tickets?
Not the extra ones, no.
Second and 9. Doug Williams with good protection, looking and throwing high and out of bounds. On purpose, he did that.
No passing yardage for the Buccaneers at all yet. 0 for 4 for the second-year quarterback from Grambling. And only 13 yards rushing for Tampa Bay. Darn Rams came in a tough mood, didn't they?
They sure did. They lead 3-0 with 14:05 left in the first half. Pittsburgh beat Houston today. They will represent the AFC in that Super Bowl. One of these two. A lot of people expected Pittsburgh to be there. Not many expected either Tampa Bay or Los Angeles to be there. Doug Williams fakes, pumps, and fires high over the head.
Wow. And wide open.
The intended receiver was number 85, Morris Owens, and he had about 5 strides on the Ram defense, but Williams was way high.
Williams had about 6 seconds to throw the ball, too. He had time to jack it and clean it off and really throw a deep pass. Good blocking up front.
Blanchard, number 16, in to kick. Averaged 36 yards today, almost 40 on the year.
They've been trying to block this. It looks like they've been putting some pressure right up the seam, right by 55 and 57 there.
Rams have 10 up on the line, and Eddie Brown, number 25, back to return the punt. See if they do try to block it. No, they're trying to set up a return. Blanchard's kick again lacks some authority. Eddie Brown goes up with a hand for the fair catch at his own 38. 32-yard kick by Tom Blanchard, and the Rams continue to lead with 13:50 left in the first half. Los Angeles 3-0 over Tampa Bay. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire at Tampa Stadium, the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is absolutely cram-packed. Not much to cheer about for the fans, though, as yet, as Wendell, Tyler, and Cullen Bryant line up behind Ferragamo. This will be Cullen Bryant with Kent Hill out in front of him. And a play which is a little slow developing is diagnosed and stopped by Jerris White.
Well, that's as great a defensive play as you'll ever see a safety man make. Jerris White is one of the great tacklers, by the way, that John McKay was talking about. And he comes up and makes one of the great plays, getting away from Slater. Watch the big tackle pulling on him now. Here's the misdirection, the little hip move. And you got the big back out front. Now watch this tackle by Jerris. That's an outstanding play.
I thought it was interesting that John McKay said yesterday one of the keys to their first victory, their regular season victory over the Rams, was that they tackled very well. And it for Tyler, who heard somebody coming. Trying to set up a screen for Tyler as Hill and France are out there. Vince Ferragamo, of course, a young quarterback, didn't figure to be the starter.
Boy.
We asked him how he felt about the pressure of being in a championship game like this.
Got one of the best offensive lines in football. They're going to give me ample protection today, and I don't foresee any problems as far as throwing the football. We will come off and we'll block well and we'll run the ball, so we won't have any problems either way.
Seems very confident, doesn't he? And he drops. Ferragamo pumps and fires deep. Ron Smith, the intended receiver. There was some contact, and everybody is saying, pointing fingers at each other and at the official, but there are no flags.
Cotney looked like Cotney was the one that went by Jerris White. And, of course, the receiver ran together, but I think Cotney's the one that sort of undid his belt buckle or what have you. Watch the move. It's a deep pattern now, turning out, going up. Now watch number 34 get somehow into the action, too. Oh, no, he stayed away, and Jerris did it. It's the old BB trick, getting between two fellas and bouncing around a bit.
Looking up high, Ken Clark. His season average was respectable, 40.1 today. 34 is his best effort. And this is another line drive. Reese evades one Ram tackler, gets back to the 30, and that's where the Buccaneers will operate after a 37-yard punt by Clark. 12:47 left in the first half. The Rams lead 3-0. One of these two will play Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl after the Steelers beat Houston today 27-13. 3-0 here, Los Angeles. Wow, what a shot.
Takes your breath away.
Tampa Bay and the sunset. It's Wally Chambers over with the ice bag on the sideline, number 60.
He always does that.
He's got an arthritic knee. Welcome to the club.
He plays well, too.
Yes. At the 30, 1st and 10. Not much for the Buccaneers. Although Ricky Bell struggles for perhaps more than he should have gotten just because of his own athletic ability.
Ricky went down from 220 pounds when he was a power runner to 210 pounds. And, of course, he was over 1,200 yards rushing and one of the top 3 or 4 running backs perhaps in football. But the darn Ram defense, remember, all of their secondary men and their linebackers, they have really been in a lot of big games, and they know each other, and they know how to play all the different fronts.
And Jack Youngblood was number 85, playing with a hairline fracture in his leg. And he is sort of the emotional leader of the Ram defense and the entire Ram team. Fanning chases Williams, who throws a grounder.
Williams now against San Francisco threw 5 INTs, and some of them were thrown to people that don't usually intercept the ball. He can have bad moments as well as the good ones like he had last week. He was just fantastic against the Eagles.
Many of the Rams have been sick throughout the week with flu and what have you. Mike Fanning, who was just chasing Doug Williams, didn't even show up for practice yesterday.
Of course, Youngblood didn't work out all week.
Got down to where Fred Trier was just about the only healthy defensive lineman they had in practice. And Freddie always works hard. Third down, 6 at the 34. Williams looking to the outside. He has yet to complete a pass, and he still hasn't. 0 for 7 as Isaac Higgins did the juggling act, followed by Rod Perry.
That time the Rams came with the safety blitz, Elmendorf, number 42, but he showed it too early. He sneaked up and did it a lot earlier than he should have. On the left side of your screen, 42, you can see him just coming in. We talked to Elmendorf earlier. We may have a little repeat of that. He said they wanted to disguise their coverages a lot so that young Williams would have trouble with it.
So number 16, Tom Blanchard, is back into the picture again. And Eddie Brown back for the Rams, who have not clearly dominated, but certainly had control of the first half. Blanchard again, and Eddie Brown looks at it, fields it. Out of bounds at the 32.
Oh.
There's some minor disagreements going on. Buccaneer fans with all kind of magic tricks.
I'm telling you, Eddie Hill got hit twice. 2 of the hardest shots I've seen all year. And all he was doing was looking.
Seems to be okay, but he hadn't forgotten, I don't think. Bill Kohler has replaced Wally Chambers now on the Buccaneer defense, number 77. Chambers, they tell us, examine more at the half, and he may not be back. That certainly would cut down on their pass rush effectiveness. As Ferragamo, with good time, fires for Terry Nelson, but the Buccaneers swarm.
David Lewis, that 240-pound USC linebacker in the case, really cut the receiver in half. 240-pound linebackers that can run the 4.6, gosh, should be outlawed. They were when I played.
So far, Doug Williams, none for 7. Obviously, no yards. Ferragamo, 2 out of 8 for 45. We expected defense would dominate, and it has.
But all Doug Williams has to complete is one long one, then you don't worry about the percentage.
He doesn't. 2nd and 10 for the Rams at their own 32. 11:44 left first half. Ferragamo gets to Tyler. Tyler, after it looked like something serious might develop, is cut down by Mark Cotney.
Good blocking on the offensive right side. They're Saul in the middle. They seal everything off. Slater and company, Cullen Bryant, number 32, got a good block. That's a crisp tackling team.
It'll be 3rd and 5, 3-0. Los Angeles has the lead on a 19-yard field goal by Corral. And that's been it. Ferragamo to Bryant. That should be enough for a Los Angeles first down. Mike Washington herded him out of bounds, and that's about what happened, an 8-yard pickup.
Looked like Cecil Johnson, the outside linebacker, just sort of might have looked into the backfield too much because he had the coverage on this, and it didn't look like quite that much of a pattern. He just went straight into the flat. Once he caught up, he did a little job, though.
Cullen Bryant. They have said, why don't you use McCutcheon and Tyler together? And the Rams keep saying, because that guy's doing too good a job.
He's a natural fullback, isn't he?
235 pounds at least, number 32. 1st and 10 at the 45. This is Wendell Tyler, cut down in the backfield on a fine play by number 45, Jarris White. Can't do it much better, can you?
You really can, and as soon as that block down occurs, the safety man comes up with a quick force. You can ask any of the teams that aren't in the finals, aren't in the playoffs, and if you don't come across and make these kind of plays, you can't stop the in sweep anymore.
72,000 plus at this stadium, which originally was put together for a very low budget figure, but has been enlarged to where it's the 4th largest now in the NFC.
How much money?
4.6 was the original stadium.
I knew you'd know exactly how much.
That's million. Ferragamo is swarmed on by safety man Mark Cotney first. And the fans here come alive.
Look at the safety man comes up. Here comes Cotney. There are not enough people around. Ferragamo was lucky just to keep the ball and not lose control of it. 10-yard loss.
5-year man Mark Cotney, and watch him operate again.
Of course, if you throw deep, this is one of the hazards of the industry of playing quarterback. You've got to have something called that can get the ball off long and high.
Dewey Selman and Leroy Selman put more pressure on Ferragamo, and again he feels it. This time he completes his pass to Wendell Tyler, who is knocked down seriously by the members of that Buccaneer defense. Cotney again.
All right, here it is. A good move by Ferragamo, who's not noted as a good moving quarterback. But here on the run, he picks out Tyler coming around the horn, and Cotney really sticks the former UCLA All-American.
Cotney, of course, number 33. The other, number 54, is Richard Wood. Both of them have had good defensive games so far. Here is Clark Therese, who will not fair catch it. He watches it go over his head and into the end zone, and the Buccaneers will operate for the 20 after a 52-yard kick, this time by Clark. We have 8 minutes, 55 seconds left to play in the first half.
I think something's going to happen real fast.
Right now, it's 3-0, Los Angeles. Pittsburgh Steelers beat Houston 27-13 in Pittsburgh today. That is a live shot from Pittsburgh, and we'll be able to talk with one of the Steeler players.
Some football team, Patrick, that Noel has there.
They say awesome, and I've been trying to think of other words, but I think that one fits pretty well.
Perfect.
1st and 10. The ball at the 20-yard line. The Buccaneers with Doug Williams, who has yet to complete a pass. Operating on offense. He puts Giles in motion. He pitches back to Ricky Bell. And Bell gets a first down for the Buccaneers, or very close to it. He said they had to get outside, and they did finally.
Greg Roberts, the big rookie from Oklahoma, the Outland Trophy. But watch to the left of your screen. He cuts down Jack Youngblood and allows the play to start out. He hit Jack, looked like on that bad leg. I mean to tell you, this was a good offensive play. And don't let Bell get started with those, because Philadelphia did, and he almost ran to the bay.
Big tight end Jimmie Giles also with a good block. Ricky Bell said, when I carry the ball a lot, we tend to win. That's a pretty good statistic. 2nd down, about a foot, and that's about all they got. Bell again.
The first down for Tampa. Now you're going to get a roar out of the eye. That's a good defensive play on that side. Mike Fanning was the one that sort of went under the whole thing.
Doug Williams.
The Rams lost Cody Jones early. They lost, Perry and Thomas were both hurt at different times. The cornerbacks. Looked like Mike Fanning is getting a breather, huh? He was under that pile in that last play.
And Reggie Doss, number 71, backs up everybody. Johnny Davis was the ball carrier, hit before he could get back to the line of scrimmage, first by Larry Brooks.
Oh, what a great play by Larry Brooks. And through television now, we can show defensive linemen and all, you know, and to see the subtle things that these very strong people put on the other blocker and all, it's really incredible. Waiting for the play to come in.
There's number 90.
Goes to the Pro Bowl almost by habit, doesn't he?
Deservedly so. It's 2nd and 11. Clock running at 6:45 left first half. Line of scrimmage, the 30. Doug Williams with good protection, fires, deflected, incomplete.
Looked like we had either a nickel defense or 6 defensive backs that time by the Rams, and Doug Williams just straightened up and didn't get a read at all and threw it right through a defensive back's hands.
All the plays come into
Elmendorf.
him from the sideline through John McKay, the head coach, and Bill Nelson, who runs the quarterback show for the Buccaneers. 1 out of 5 on 3rd down conversions for the Buccaneers, and Williams has yet to complete a pass.
So didn't McKay say that that was one of the big improvements in the team was the play calling this year?
10-6, 11-6, as opposed to 0-26. A lot of areas to improve. Here's Williams again. And he has his first pass completion as the ball goes to Ricky Bell. He got very little. Hit by Pat Thomas. First call he's had. But that young man is a fine athlete.
What a tackle over there by Youngblood and Thomas together. Ricky Bell didn't make an inch after he turned and made contact with the defense. Maybe we're going to see it here. Well, we won't have time.
Blanchard back in the game, and Eddie Brown goes back deep for the Rams. Clock still running, just over 6 minutes, and by the time he gets it airborne, it'll be less than 6 minutes in the first half, with the Rams leading 3-0.
It's a 5th punt for Tampa.
A lot of people thought this would be low scoring. That ball is almost blocked, and Eddie Brown back now at his own 28 starts to operate. And Eddie Brown gets out to about the 34. 41-yard kick. Danny Reese, who really operates in a fine fashion on those special teams, knocked him out of bounds. So the Rams will take over with 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in the first half. And they lead 3-0 on a field goal by Corral, 19 yards. The Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the championship of the National Football Conference. Pat Summerall with Tom Brookshire in Tampa at Tampa Stadium. Tampa Bay Buccaneers shocked everybody by getting here. Ferragamo. That is Charlie Young as tight end. That had to be an automatic, wouldn't you guess?
It looked like an audible on the line of scrimmage. The 5th completion for Ferragamo. And a great call against the 34. Let's see who's slow getting up there. Is that Randy Crowder?
Yes, 22-yard pickup.
Nicely delivered, and Charlie Young went out to California and could not start because Nelson flat beat him out. Good catch, huh?
Going to see a lot more of that double tight end offense as you watch these 3-man fronts on defense. That's the way to neutralize those. Young is lined up tight on the left side. And here is Wendell Tyler. I beg your pardon, Cullen Bryant. Tyler, the blocker, out in front. Not much doing for him.
That Dave Lewis. Lewis again comes up on the outside. When he played at SC, Lewis weighed about 220, but now he's up to 240. Watch this tackle he puts on. Comes off the ground. A good block was laid on him, and he still makes the tackle.
He is big enough to be a defensive end now. And when the Buccaneers blitz, he's usually the man who's involved in some fashion. That bench is very quiet right now as Los Angeles leads 3-0. This is Wendell Tyler behind the line, taken down by David Lewis again.
Boy. Some of the toughest guys seem to be the nicest people off the playing field, you know? But he came on the field today and put the helmet on and never smiled, no matter shook your hand or anything else, buddy. He's all business.
He is the leading starer, they say.
Every
After
time
he tackles, he looks.
He looks right in their eyes, right? John McKay said everybody knows he hit him. He doesn't know why he does it.
Just wants to make sure they know. In case they check him out again.
My eyes were usually crossed.
Third down conversion situation for the Rams, not too good. The Buccaneers faking a blitz, and it's not a fake. But Ferragamo picks it up nicely as Preston Denard makes the first down catch, stopped by Mike Washington. 11 yards.
Don't come tiptoeing up and show the blitz too early. It looks to me like the Rams anticipated and did a great job of it. It is right on. Ferragamo has a lot of moxie, and he picked up the blitz. The blitz doesn't seem to bother him very much. Puts it away. Of course, you have solo coverage in the blitz situation.
That really is the key. You don't show it too early. And if you do, You wind up in a man-to-man coverage, and they know it. And they can cut you apart. Ferragamo, inside handoff to Cullen Bryant, down to about the 27.
This time the Bucs decided to blitz or dog the right inside linebacker, and the Rams decided that they'll go ahead and trap that same position. Good defensive play that time by Dewey Selman.
And Cecil Johnson. They converged. Cullen Bryant, big broad back, is a very reliable ball carrier. Second down, 6. Vince Ferragamo, 6 out of 12 for 100. Rams lead 3-0. Ferragamo again to the tight end, Charlie Young. And again, perhaps an audible, not sure. 13-yard gain, another first down.
It's a funny time, though, to go blitz crazy on defense. Here's Charlie Young just turning to the inside looking for it. And that must be an automatic that if they come up and give us that front, they're coming again with the blitz. We'll do it again.
Charlie Young wearing gloves on both hands as the 2-minute warning is now given both to Ray Malavasi of the Rams and John McKay of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Rams continue to hold that lead 3-0.